The spaceship Aurora's Hope drifted through the ruins of a broken world. The planet below was covered in dust and ash, once green but now only shadows. The human research team had landed to search for rare minerals, but instead they found something none of them expected. It was not a weapon, not treasure, not even ruins of technology. It was a living being. A small alien, thin and fragile, its skin pale like moonlight, its eyes glowing with quiet sadness. It sat in the wreck of a collapsed building, trembling like it had been waiting for them, and around its neck, glowing softly, was a strange collar. The humans were silent at first. Commander Elias, the leader, stepped forward carefully. He raised his hand in peace, but the alien did not move. Its large black eyes only followed them, silent, watchful, almost begging. When Elias spoke, the alien gave no answer. It opened its mouth, but no sound came out. Mute, voiceless. Yet every breath it took seemed to hold a story. The collar around its neck hummed faintly. Blue lights ran across its surface like veins. The engineer, Marin, whispered, "That's not decoration. That's control tech, but who had placed it there and why?" They brought the alien aboard the ship. It did not resist, it did not fight. It simply walked beside them, silent as stone. The crew placed it in the med bay, under soft lights and scanners. Every time the doctors touched the collar, the alien flinched in pain, not from the touch, but as if the collar itself carried fire under its surface. "Why can't it speak?" asked Lyra, the youngest scientist. No answer came. The scanners showed the collar linked directly to the alien's nervous system. If they tried to cut it off without unlocking it first, it would kill the alien instantly. The crew exchanged worried glances. Who would create such a cruel device? That night, as the ship sailed through the dark of space, strange things began to happen in the control room. A low static hiss broke through the radio. No one was speaking, yet voices seemed to whisper in fragments, broken words almost like cries for help. When they traced the signal, it came not from outside, but from inside, from the med bay. From the collar, Elias and Marin rushed in. The alien was awake, sitting on the medical bed, eyes glowing faintly. The collar pulsed like a heartbeat, sending waves of static into the ship's systems. The alien looked at them with silent desperation. It touched its throat, then the collar, then the stars visible through the window. Its meaning was clear. The collar is the key, but also the prison. Marin leaned closer. He saw strange markings hidden along the collar's surface, symbols that were not human, not from any known race in their star charts. Yet they shifted, almost alive, when his hand brushed them. The alien suddenly reached out, gripping his wrist. Not violent, but urgent. Its eyes filled with something stronger than fear, hope. For the first time, the alien wanted them to understand. Elias frowned. If this collar is a prison, then who built it? And what are they hiding? No one answered. The alien could not. But deep inside, every crew member felt it. This was not a simple discovery. This was a secret, a dangerous one. Outside the med bay window, space looked calm, but calm was only a mask. Something was moving out there. In the shadows of the stars, the alien knew it. It pressed its small hands together, as if begging the humans to hurry, to see, to listen, to unlock the truth before it was too late. And as the collar hummed louder, filling the ship with ghostly echoes, every human aboard Aurora's Hope realized one thing. This was no ordinary creature. This silent alien carried a secret powerful enough to change everything. A secret that could shatter the galaxy, or unite it, and humanity was now part of it, whether they wanted or not. The corridors of Aurora's Hope were quiet, too quiet. Every crew member could feel the weight of something unseen pressing against the walls. It was not fear of the alien itself, but fear of what followed it. The mute alien sat in the med bay, its large black eyes never closing, never blinking for long. The collar around its neck glowed with a soft pulse, almost like a heartbeat that was not its own. It had not spoken, not moved much, but its presence alone changed the air inside the ship. Some of the crew felt pity, others felt unease. But everyone knew one thing: the collar was alive that night. When the ship drifted through a silent patch of space, strange sounds filled the control room. At first it was static, a faint hiss that the radio officers thought was interference. But soon it changed, it grew into whispers. Broken words, scattered voices, like thousands of people speaking at once, but none of them complete. Lyra, the young scientist, leaned forward, her face pale. I think it's speaking," she whispered. Commander Elias narrowed his eyes. "The alien?" "Yes," she replied, pointing at the monitor. Not with its mouth, but through the collar they tracked the signals. All lines pointed to the medbay. The collar was sending out messages, coded signals that echoed across the ship's systems. Sometimes the words almost formed sentences. Run, hide, they see. Each time the crew froze. Each time the alien trembled as if it could hear them too. Marin, the engineer, entered the medbay late at night. The alien was awake, its eyes reflecting the soft glow of the collar. He sat near it, holding a small scanner. I know you can't talk, he said softly, but maybe you can listen. He touched the scanner to the collar and the symbols glowed faintly. The alien leaned closer, its breath trembling. The lights of the collar brightened, and suddenly the ship's power flickered. The whispers grew louder, spreading through every corridor. Voices that were not human. Voices that sounded ancient, heavy with sorrow. Elias rushed into the medbay with the security team. Shut it down, he ordered. But Marin shook his head. No, wait. It's not attacking us, it's showing us something. The alien reached forward, its small hand trembling, and touched Marin's chest for a moment. Marin's mind was flooded with visions. He saw stars burning, cities falling, entire planets enslaved, and always the collar. Chains of light wrapped around millions, silencing them all. Marin gasped, pulling back, his heart racing. The alien's eyes begged him to understand. It's not just a collar, Marin whispered, it's a prison. And a transmitter, Elias frowned. Transmitter? Yes, Marin said, it's sending out signals. Calling someone or warning us before Elias could answer. Alarms blared across the ship. Enemy radar detection. Something was out there watching them. The crew hurried to their stations on the outer screens. Shadows flickered across the stars, too quick, too far to lock on, like predators circling in the dark. The alien rose to its feet, hands pressed together in silent pleading, its eyes filled with fear but also urgency. It pointed at the collar, then at the ship's window where the shadows moved. They're coming, Lyra whispered, her voice shaking. The whispers, they're not random, they're warnings. Elias clenched his jaw. If that's true, then we have two problems. The collar is calling to someone, and that someone is already near. The crew debated furiously. Some wanted to throw the alien out, to cut their losses before the danger grew worse. Others wanted to protect it, believing it carried knowledge too important to ignore. The alien stood silently in the middle of the argument. It did not fight, it did not beg. It only watched them with eyes that seemed older than stars. That night the whispers became screams. Every corridor of the ship echoed with voices. Some cried for help. Others spoke in tongues no one could understand. And deep beneath it all, one phrase repeated again and again. They are here. They are here. The alien clutched its collar. Trembling, blue sparks of light leapt from it, burning the air like electricity. Suddenly, the ship's sensors locked onto something huge. A vessel, massive and dark, sliding out of the shadows of space. No human design, no friendly signal, a warship. It sent only one message to Aurora's hope. Return the Silent One. Or be destroyed. The crew froze. Elias looked at the alien, then at his people. This mute creature, this fragile being with its cursed collar, had dragged them into the crosshairs of something far greater than they ever imagined. And in that moment, every human aboard realized the truth. The whispers in the dark were not madness. They were warnings. The galaxy was listening. And humanity was no longer hidden. The alien warship hovered in the darkness outside Aurora's hope. Its hull was sharp and black, swallowing starlight. The crew stared at the screen as the message repeated, Return the Silent One, or be destroyed. Inside the medbay, the alien trembled. It held its collar with shaking hands, eyes wide with fear. The humans had seen many strange species in their travels, but never one so desperate to stay. Never one that begged without words. Commander Elias stood tall, his jaw tight. We don't hand over the innocent, he said firmly. But even as he spoke, the crew felt the weight of danger pressing closer. The collar glowed brighter that night, its veins of light pulsing faster. Marin, the engineer, couldn't resist any longer. He returned to the medbay, tools in hand. I need to know what this thing is, he whispered to himself. The alien's eyes followed him, and for the first time, it did not flinch when he reached for the collar. It wanted him to try. Marin leaned close, scanning the device. The symbols carved into its surface shimmered faintly. They were not fixed, but shifted like liquid, changing each time his scanner touched them. It was like the collar was alive, reacting to him. The alien pressed its hand against his wrist, urging him on. Its touch was cold, but filled with something deeper, trust. For hours he worked. The ship rattled now and then as the warship outside tested their defenses with low-powered strikes. The crew grew restless, their fear rising. But inside the medbay, a different battle was unfolding. Marin adjusted the scanner. One of the symbols lit up golden instead of blue. The alien gasped silently, its body shaking. The collar's hum changed pitch, dropping lower, vibrating through the walls. Suddenly, the ship's systems flickered. Lights dimmed, alarms wailed. The collar had linked itself to Aurora's hope. For a moment, all screens filled with strange star maps, unknown coordinates scattered across the galaxy. Then the images vanished, leaving only static. "What did you do?" Elias shouted, storming into the medbay. Marin shook his head. "I didn't do anything. It's unlocking itself." The alien looked between them, hands raised as if to beg them not to fight. The collar pulsed again, and a voice echoed, not through mouths, but through every mind in the room. "You must hurry." The words were broken, filled with static, but it was a voice for the first time. The mute alien had spoken, not out loud, but directly into their thoughts. The crew staggered, holding their heads. The alien's eyes burned with urgency. It touched its collar, then pointed at the stars. Then at the warship outside. "They want it back because it's more than a chain," Marin breathed. "It's a lock holding secrets," Elias frowned. "Secrets about what?" The alien's voice returned, weak but clear. "Your kind. Forgotten. Hidden truth." The words faded into silence. The alien collapsing back onto the bed. Drained, the collar dimmed again, returning to its steady hum, but they had all heard it. It could speak if the collar allowed it, and whatever truth it held was enough for entire fleets to hunt it down. The warship outside grew restless, its weapons charged, glowing on the scanners. A final warning flashed across the comms. "Return the silent one now, or be erased." The crew gathered in the control room. Voices sharp. "We can't fight them," said one. "They'll destroy us in seconds." "They're afraid of it," Lyra argued. "That means it's important. More important than us, maybe." Arguments clashed, fear and anger filling the air. But then the alien appeared in the doorway, weak but standing. It pressed its hands together and bowed its head. Not a gesture of surrender, but of trust. It was telling them. It trusted humanity to choose. Elias closed his eyes for a long moment. When he opened them, his voice was steady. "We don't hand it over," he said firmly. "Not to tyrants." The crew fell silent. The decision was made. Marin returned to the medbay with Lyra. They studied the collar again, searching for the next symbol. The alien guided them, pointing at certain marks. Each time they followed its silent hints. The collar shifted, loosening ever so slightly. They were close to unlocking more, but with every change, the warship outside grew more aggressive, its cannons charged fully now, its shadow filling the stars. Time was running out. The first unlock had revealed only fragments, but those fragments had already changed everything. The alien could speak. The alien held knowledge of humanity's past, and the enemy outside feared it enough to threaten war. Marin's hands trembled as he pressed the scanner to the final symbol of the sequence. The collar shuddered, lights flashing wildly. The alien's eyes widened in terror. Before Marin could pull back, the ship shook violently. The warship had fired its first real shot. The crew was thrown to the ground. Alarms blaring, the collar screamed with light, flooding the medbay in blinding brilliance, and through the chaos, the alien's voice filled every human mind again, louder this time, stronger. "They are coming for you too. Humanity is no longer safe." The stars outside the ship burned like cold eyes, and in the middle of that darkness, the enemy warship waited. Its size was terrifying. A shadow large enough to swallow Aurora's hope whole. Its hull was covered in scars from ancient battles, its weapons glowing with deadly light. The humans had never faced anything like it. Inside the ship, alarms screamed. Red lights flashed across the corridors. The crew scrambled to their stations, fear running like fire through their veins. Every moment they delayed, the enemy outside drew closer. In the medbay, the alien lay weak, the collar glowing faintly. Its eyes darted toward the ceiling, as if it could sense the massive ship waiting above. It pressed its hands together again, pleading not for itself, but for the humans who had chosen not to surrender it. Commander Elias stormed into the control room. "Status report," he barked. "Shields at 60%. "Weapons ready but outclassed," the officer replied. The crew knew the truth. even if they fought with everything they had. Aurora's hope could not match that giant. A message crackled across the comms. The voice was cold, mechanical, without mercy. Last warning, return the Silent One or be erased. The screen flickered to life, showing the face of the enemy commander. Its skin was metallic gray, its eyes like burning coals. It was not human. Not even flesh in the way humans understood. It looked more like a machine built for war. Its gaze turned sharp. That creature you protect is not your ally, it is a weapon, and you are fools to guard it. The crew froze. A weapon? Was the alien truly dangerous? The alien shook its head fiercely, eyes wide with fear, trying to deny the words. It clutched its collar as if to say, "This is the weapon, not me." Marin stepped forward, his voice trembling but firm. "Then why are you so afraid of it?" he demanded. The enemy commander's eyes glowed brighter. "You are children playing with fire," it said coldly. "Return the Silent One, and perhaps we will let your species live in ignorance." The comms cut. The crew was left in silence. Each of them looked at the alien. A weapon or a prisoner, a victim or a threat. The truth was locked inside the collar, and time was running out. The alien pulled itself up from the medbed. It walked unsteadily toward the viewport, staring at the warship. Then it turned to Elias. Eyes filled with urgency, it pointed at the collar, then at Marin. The meaning was clear: unlock more. Reveal the truth before the enemy destroyed them. Elias hesitated. If they unlocked too much, who knew what would be unleashed? But if they did nothing, the warship outside would erase them. He gave a slow nod. "Marin, do it." The engineer's hands shook as he returned to the symbols. Each one was harder to read than the last. They twisted and shifted, alive under his touch. The alien guided him with silent gestures, its breath quick, its body weak. Finally, a new sequence lit up. The collar pulsed with golden light, and suddenly the alien's voice rang out again, echoing inside their minds. "They are hunters, slavers of voices," the alien said. "My people were chained, silenced, so that no truth could spread." The crew listened. Stunned, the alien's words were heavy with pain. "I am not a weapon, I am a witness. The collar is the weapon, it cuts my voice. It chains my kind." Before they could ask more, the ship rocked violently. A blast from the enemy struck their shields, shaking Aurora's hope like a toy. "Shields at 30%, the officer shouted. The warship was no longer waiting. The hunter had arrived. The alien fell to its knees, the collar burning with furious light. Through the noise, its voice filled their minds once more. "If they take me, they erase your chance to know the truth." The words cut deep. Humanity had never been so close to answers about the galaxy, about themselves, but to protect that truth, they would have to defy a power far greater than them. Elias stood firm. "No surrender," he said, his voice hard. The crew nodded. Though fear trembled in their eyes, they were just one ship, a fragile spark in the endless dark. But something about the aliens' trust gave them strength. The warship outside charged its main cannon. The stars around it lit up with deadly fire. The hunter was ready to erase them. Inside the med bay, the collar shifted again, its light growing unstable. The alien screamed without sound, clutching it, as if the device itself was reacting to the danger. The crew watched in terror as the collar's glow expanded, filling the room with strange patterns of light. For a moment, the crew saw visions through the glow, fleets of silent aliens, all chained, all voiceless, forced to kneel under the same hunters that now threatened humanity. They saw worlds burned, voices cut off, entire histories erased. And then they saw something else: humans, standing beside the silent ones, fighting, breaking the chains. A future not yet real, but possible. The alien's voice returned, weaker but determined. "Help me, break the chains, or you will be next outside." The hunter's cannon reached full charge. The crew braced themselves. The alien's collar pulsed like a heart about to burst. And in that moment, humanity's choice was no longer about one alien. It was about survival. About whether they would remain silent or fight to be heard. The warship outside was ready to fire. Its cannon glowed like a newborn star, filling the void with deadly light. Inside Aurora's hope, the crew held their breath, knowing one blast would tear them apart. But in the medbay, something else was happening. The alien's collar pulsed faster, its glow spreading through the room. It was no longer only a prison, it was opening, and with it, a voice rose. Not through sound, but through the minds of every human aboard. "Hear me," the alien said. The words echoed like a whisper carried by the wind, heavy with sadness yet filled with strength. For the first time, the mute alien's voice was clear. Every crew member froze, not from fear, but awe. Its voice was soft like a child, yet it carried the weight of ages. Marin fell to his knees, tears stinging his eyes. "You can speak," he whispered. The alien looked at him, nodding slowly, not through mouth, but through thought, it replied. "The collar cuts me, limits me, but now part of it is broken." The crew gathered. Listening, Elias stepped forward. "What are they after? Why do they fear you so much?" The alien's dark eyes filled with pain. "Because I remember," it said. "Because my kind remembers." Images filled their minds, visions that were not dreams but memories. Humans saw towering cities of light, alien voices singing across the stars, then chains of fire wrapping around them. The collars locking tight, voices turned to silence. Whole civilizations muted at once. The enemy warship outside was part of that silence, enforcers of it. "We were guardians of truth," the alien whispered. "But they made us prisoners of silence," Lyra gasped, her voice trembling. "Truth about what?" The alien turned toward her, eyes glowing faintly. "Truth about you," it said. "About humanity." The words sent a chill through the room. "What do you mean?" Elias asked sharply. The alien's voice trembled. "Humans were not alone, you were not small. You were part of the greater path, but they cut you away. They erased you from memory." The crew exchanged shocked looks. Could it be true? Had humanity once been part of something larger? Something ancient? The alien nodded slowly, reading their thoughts. "They fear you as they fear me, for if you awaken, their chains will break." The ship rocked suddenly, another blast striking their shields. "Shields down to 15%, the officer shouted. The hunter outside had grown impatient. It did not want the alien to speak further. It wanted silence, forever silence. The alien staggered, clutching its collar. Its voice strained, but still reached them. "I am weak, but the collar holds more. Unlock it, and I can tell you everything." Marin gritted his teeth. "If I push further, it might kill you." The alien looked into his eyes. "Better to die free than live chained." Elias placed his hand on Marin's shoulder. "Do it," he said firmly. The engineer nodded, sweat dripping down his forehead. He pressed the scanner to the shifting symbols again. Each one twisted like smoke, harder to pin down. But as he worked, the alien guided him with silent gestures. Slowly, painfully, the collar loosened further. When the final symbol lit up, the alien screamed. Not with sound, but with blinding light. The med bay flooded with golden glow. The crew shielded their eyes, and then the alien's voice filled them again. Stronger this time, powerful, unstoppable. "Humans are not children of Earth alone. Your seed was scattered among stars. You are older than you know." Gasps filled the room. The alien's voice thundered inside their skulls. "The hunters erased your place. They silenced those who remembered, but I kept it, I carried it. Though they chained me, visions returned. This time clearer, humans walking among strange worlds, building with alien allies, fighting alongside voices long forgotten, and then war, chains, silence. Humanity forced into isolation, memory stolen. The truth had been buried so deep no one on Earth could ever know. Until now, tears rolled down Lyra's cheeks. "All this time, we thought we were alone," she whispered. The alien's eyes glowed brighter. "You are not alone, and you were never weak. They fear what you could become if you remember." Before anyone could speak, the ship shook violently again. The warship had locked its main cannon, a single blast away from destroying them. But something had changed. The alien stood taller now, its body filled with energy from the half-broken collar. Its voice echoed once more, filling every corner of Aurora's hope. "I am not the only one. There are more chained like me, waiting, hiding, hoping." The alien turned toward Elias, its expression fierce despite its fragile body. "You have a choice, fight with me or hand me back. But know this, if I fall, humanity falls too." The crew froze, their hearts pounding. This mute alien was no longer a victim. It was a messenger, a keeper of forbidden memory. And its voice, once locked away, was now alive. A secret voice carrying truths that could shake the galaxy. Outside, the hunter prepared to strike. Inside, humanity stood at the edge of a choice that would change everything. The glow of the alien's collar dimmed, but its words still echoed in the crew's minds. "If I fall, humanity falls too." The control room was silent. Every human aboard Aurora's Hope felt the weight of the choice pressing down. The hunter's warship outside charged its main cannon, the stars trembling with the light of destruction. Inside, the alien stood weak but defiant, its dark eyes filled with urgency. Commander Elias turned to his crew. "We fight," he said. Some nodded, some hesitated. The truth was terrifying. Defying the hunters meant declaring humanity's presence to the galaxy. But surrender meant silence. "Forever silence," Lyra whispered. "If humanity was erased once, it can happen again." Her words cut deep into every heart in the room. They had lived believing Earth was small, fragile, forgotten. But now they knew humanity had once been part of something greater. And the enemy feared that truth. Marin worked quickly on the collar. Guided by the alien's gestures, each symbol unlocked revealed more fragments of memory. Each fragment carried sorrow, chains and burning worlds. The alien spoke softly, its voice in their minds like a broken song. "We were guardians, protectors of memory, but they betrayed us. They feared our voices. So they chained us," Elias frowned. "Who betrayed you?" The alien's eyes filled with tears of light. "The Empire," it whispered. "Those who now hunt me, those who call me weapon, they were once our allies. They promised peace, then enslaved us." The crew gasped. The hunters outside were not strangers. They were the very empire that ruled most of the known galaxy. And they had betrayed their own kind if they had once silenced the Guardians. What would they do to humanity now that humans knew the truth? Suddenly the ship shuddered. The warship outside fired again, shields down to 10%. They could not take another hit. Elias gritted his teeth. "We need more than shields. We need something inside that collar, something that can help us fight." Marin looked up, sweat on his forehead. "I'm close," he said, "but unlocking more could unleash something we can't control." The alien nodded. "Yes, the collar binds power as well as voice. Break it fully and the truth comes, but also danger." The crew fell into silence. Was the alien warning them, or was it afraid of what would happen if it remembered everything? Elias stepped closer, his eyes sharp. "We don't have a choice. Unlock it." Marin's fingers shook as he pressed the scanner to the final sequence. The alien gripped his arm tightly, eyes pleading. "If you do this, there is no turning back. They will never forgive. Never stop." Elias looked around the room, at his frightened but determined crew. "They already want us dead," he said. "Better to know the truth than die blind." The collar flared with light. The alien screamed silently. Every human mind filled with visions? Betrayal, endless betrayal. They saw the Guardians welcoming the Empire, offering peace, teaching knowledge. They saw the Empire smiling, promising alliance. And then they saw chains snapping shut, collars forced onto the Guardians. Voices stolen, worlds burned, those who resisted were erased. Those who obeyed lived as silent slaves. Then the vision shifted. Humans, ancient humans, fighting beside the Guardians. Resisting the Empire, the alliance was strong once. But the Empire used betrayal to break it. They cut humanity away, isolated Earth, erased their role in the stars. They made humans forget. "They lied to you," the alien whispered. "They cut your memory. They betrayed your voice. Just as they betrayed mine." The crew staggered back. Gasping, humanity was not just a young race of explorers. They were survivors of betrayal, victims of silence, and now they were awake. Before anyone could speak, alarms screamed. The warship outside had locked its main cannon, but something else was happening inside Aurora's Hope. The collar cracked, golden shards of light spilling into the air. The alien's body shook, its voice rising in every human mind. "I am free. I am not weapon. I am memory, and I will not be silenced again." For a moment, the crew felt a surge of power flood the ship. The lights steadied. The shields hummed with new energy. The alien's freedom was giving Aurora's Hope strength. But just as hope lit the humans' hearts, betrayal struck. One of the officers raised his weapon, his eyes cold, his voice trembling. "We can't win against them. We have to hand it over." He aimed at the alien. The crew shouted in shock. This was not fear, this was betrayal from within. Elias grabbed his arm, but the officer pulled free. "They're too powerful. We'll all die because of this thing," he shouted. The alien stepped back, its eyes wide with hurt. Even after all it revealed, even after all it suffered, betrayal had found it again, just as it had in the past. The warship outside fired. The ship shook violently, walls cracking, alarms shrieking. The betrayer fired too. The shot grazing the alien's side, it fell. the collar shattering fully in a burst of golden fire. The medbay filled with blinding light, and the alien's final words in that moment thundered in every human mind. You must choose betrayal or truth, silence or voice. Outside, the hunter's warship prepared its final strike. Inside, humanity's future balanced on a blade's edge, and the galaxy waited to see if humans would betray themselves again. The medbay burned with golden light. Shards of the broken collar floated in the air like glowing dust. The alien lay weak on the floor, trembling, yet its eyes shone brighter than ever. The betrayer's weapon clattered to the ground, the officer frozen in shame and fear. The crew stared in silence, their hearts pounding. Then it happened. The alien's voice filled every mind aboard Aurora's Hope. No longer broken, no longer weak, it was strong. Clear, unchained, I am free, it declared, and with me, the memory of all who were silenced is free too. Visions burst inside the crew's thoughts. Fleets of chained guardians lifting their heads, collars cracking, voices rising again. Worlds once enslaved glowing with hope, and among them humans standing tall, their forgotten past restored. The Empire's greatest fear was now real. Memory had returned. Humanity knew the truth. Outside, the hunter's warship charged its cannon, the stars trembling with its power, but Aurora's hope glowed brighter. The alien's energy flowing through its systems, shields repaired, weapons humming with new force. The tiny human ship no longer felt weak. It felt alive. Elias stood in the control room, his voice firm. We do not surrender, he said. His crew answered with steady nods, fear replaced by resolve. The alien rose slowly, supported by Marin and Lyra, its eyes burning with defiance. The hunters cannot chain us all. Not anymore, it said. The warship outside fired. A beam of burning light cut across the void. But this time Aurora's Hope held strong, the golden glow surrounding it like armor. The blast split around them, scattering harmlessly into space. The crew gasped, awe filling their hearts. The alien smiled faintly. You are not alone. Humanity was never alone. Elias clenched his fists. Target their weapons, he ordered. The crew obeyed for the first time. The hunters tasted fear. The small human ship fought back, beams of light striking the massive warship's cannons. Explosions burst across its hull, smoke spilling into the void. The hunter commander appeared once more on the comms, its metallic face twisted in rage. You will regret this, it hissed. Elias stepped forward, eyes burning. No, he said coldly, you will. The warship began to retreat, its massive form vanishing into the dark, but not before its final warning echoed. This is not the end, humanity has spoken, and the Empire will never forgive. Then it was gone. The void was silent again. Inside the ship, the crew collapsed into their seats, exhausted but alive. They had survived what should have been impossible. Marin turned to the alien, his voice soft. Why us? Why did you trust us? The alien's eyes glowed with warmth. Because your kind once fought beside mine, because you know betrayal, and because you still choose to rise. Lyra wiped tears from her eyes. You've given us the truth, she said. What do we do with it? The alien's voice deepened, echoing like thunder in their minds. You carry it back to your people, awaken them. Tell them they are not children of one world, but heirs of many. Tell them the galaxy is waiting, and it fears you. Silence filled the room as the weight of the words settled in. Humanity was no longer hidden, no longer forgotten. The Empire would come. Their hunters would strike again, but humans would not cower. They would remember. They would fight. The betrayer officer fell to his knees, his voice breaking. I was afraid, he whispered. I thought surrender was the only way. Elias looked at him for a long moment. Fear is natural, he said. But betrayal is a choice. Don't forget this moment. Because humanity will need every voice when the storm comes. The alien stepped closer to the viewport. Gazing at the endless stars, its voice was calm now, almost peaceful. This is only the beginning. More of my kind still wear chains. More worlds still kneel. The Empire will send fleets, but now they will face you too. It turned back, eyes glowing with pride. And humanity does not kneel. The crew felt those words burn into their hearts. They were explorers yesterday, survivors today, but tomorrow, they would be something more. Not prey, not children, but a force the galaxy would have to reckon with. As Aurora's Hope sailed away from the ruins of the dead world, golden light still flickering in its wake, every human aboard knew the truth. The mute alien's collar had been a prison, But its breaking was a signal to the galaxy that silence was over. Voices would rise again and humanity's dawn had begun.